guy is not available. This is your prototype. So let's get into this. This is the delay, and unnamed so far. And what makes this stand out? Because I know you made it stand out amongst other delays. What is it that, you know, why would it stand out?
Right, so it's an analog delay. Delay time is from 700 milliseconds to about 80 milliseconds, or maybe 50. I don't remember exactly.
And I really, to me, it's like delays are just what they do, and it's like I'm not one to always keep track of the numbers of how many milliseconds. Yeah,
it's just so apart from being an analog delay, we have the compressor circuit that we designed for this pedal that's implemented in here.
Right.
And we have a compression switch as well that affects how your playing reacts with the feedback. And we also have a discrete expanding circuit at the output to cut out the noise, and it's basically a voltage control low pass filter that, you know, closes up when you stop playing and opens back up, so it gives it kind of a woody tone, or gives it an interesting character.
Right.
We've got a tone in the feedback loop,
right,
which is just kind of a tilt tone. So on this side you'd have bass and then you'd have trebles. Output volume, wet, dry mix, feedback of course, delay time, and we have a really cool little modulation circuit that does that generates a random voltage. So instead of having that cyclical kind of modulation where you expect the modulation, you know where it's going to go, then it just sort of, this one just sort of happens now and then. It's really interesting, really lush, and
it's unpredictable.
Right.
Yeah. So which is what we were discussing earlier, that, you know, I just love, musicians really love that. I mean, I think people think that there are musicians, of course, some things you want consistent, but sometimes you want this unpredictability because it inspires you, because you don't expect it, and then you adapt to it, and it makes you play stuff differently, and that's what I love. So it just sounds great. That is awesome. Now we're going to switch so the modulation comes in. So this will be what, like medium, right?
Yeah, let's try the medium setting first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you go more extreme, you'll hear how that effect is even more, you know, outstanding. So like, just kick it up right that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Let's bring down the tone just a bit.
Sure.
Maybe the mix, I don't know, bring it up.
inspired you to make like crazy shit? Like, come on, some bands had to.
Well, I listened to anything from like prog rock to hip hop to you know, some heavy metal. You know, when I'm starting on a design, it's just I'm gonna get inspired by some circuits and, you know, data sheets and sounds, but
I mean, do you
I
ever
usually
hear?
start from scratch and then just go from there. To see
But do you ever hear something on a record and you go, I want to make something that does this?
No, not often. No.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I would
you see it as magic, but I don't. You know, it's just.
Well,
it's
you
the
know what
way
I
it
mean?
is.
like, cause like this pedal, like it's like I would just think like, oh, okay, he was into Melt Banana, and so he's like, I'm gonna make a pedal that, you know, like
This one actually I was going to a jam later in the day, and I wanted a new pedal, so I decided to start a project, and I wanted it sort of finished before the jam, and I put it in this kind of old avionics electronics thing, and it sounded just as disgusting, but with less controls. It was just a volume knob. And,
But hold on, but so because the thing is, man, is that you're making these pedals and like so, like you said, like disgusting, whatever. That means you like that.
Oh
you,
yeah,
you didn't clean it up over. So there's a music that you've listened to that made you go, I'm cool with this. I'm cool with it being disgusting. Because there's a lot of builders that don't want over the topness or just noisiness or whatever.
Yeah.
And so what would you listen to that? Like, did you listen to Sonic Youth?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Sonic Youth. And I mean, they're a good example of kind of how stuff that isn't clean is very musical.
Very musical, exactly.
Yeah. And even old rock and roll or old folk or stuff like that. It's, you know, old jazz. It's
right.
People love it. Well, I love it partly because it has a certain sound, and you know, you can try to reproduce that sound today, and it's difficult because we have all these nice machines. But really, they were just going along with what they had, which was kind of shitty equipment.
Right. That we heard this setting earlier, but I love that bass like that, because that's just such a different thing to be playing with this, you know, your signal, and then it has this brightness, and then it just kind of dubs out into that. Yeah. Man, I bet the drums, that would be awesome. Yeah, man, for sure. It's almost like you have a team of other bass players with you. You know what I mean? But they have different tones. That's awesome. You did a phenomenal job with this thing. When do you expect?
We're looking at April for release. Yeah.
So April release for this. This is already out. You guys can hit your website.
That's it. Check out our dealers or order direct through the website, whatever you feel.
All right, cool.
Like, that's it.
Yeah, Fairfield Circuitry. Thank you.